everyone. Now let's see about the employee management. Employee management is the most significant aspect of the company which requires efficient planning and consideration. Reliable and efficient management solutions are needed for effective employee management. The employee deals as the center soul of the organization. Using Seedor, we can create employees, assign the job positions, allocate them to departments, assign a manager to each employee. In addition to this, we can also add their skills, qualification, their personal and professional details here. For the management of employees, we can go to the employees. Here we could view the existing employees. On the left, we have the departments where we could view all the departments that we have. And under department, we can see that for administration department, we have two sub-departments, that is business department and software department. We could view the employees accordingly. So these are the employees who belongs to the business department, and for the software department, we have these employees here. Similarly, we could see it for website department too. By the same way, we could also view them under job positions, like who are all the business executives we have, and other details can be seen accordingly. Now we can also see it under configuration. We have job positions. Here we can see which are the job positions we have, under which department, the respected websites, and how many current number of employees we have and how many are expected to be coming, and total forecasted employees list, and how many employees has been hired. Those details can be seen here, and the status of the particular job position can be seen. If the recruitment is still in progress, or for the job position the recruitment has been stopped, that details can be seen here. On the left, we have responsible persons. So accordingly, we could view the job positions. Like Amsika is responsible for the job position website developer. Similarly, we could view it for the other responsible persons too. Now I am going back to the employees. Now I am viewing an existingly created employee here. For editing this employee's details, I can click on this edit option. I'll have to mention the name of the employee, the designation of the employee, and their work details, the department details, the job position. If they have any acting job positions, they can mention it here. The manager of this particular employee should be mentioned here. We can also add the image for the employee from our files. The resume details can be updated here. Under work information, we could view all the work information of this particular employee. We can see the organization chart for this particular employee here. So under the director, we have a software manager. Under the software manager, we have this particular employee as a software developer. So if this employee has any badges, then we can mention it here. Under the private information, we could view all the private information of this particular employee, like their private address, their passport details, identification ID, their citizenship, if they are dependent, that details, their emergency contact details, their education details can be filled here, and their dependents details can be also mentioned here. Under HR settings, if this employee has any related user, then they can mention it here. Then the joining date of the employee can be seen here. If this particular employee is recording their attendance through biometric device, then they should mention the biometric device ID here. And for the attendance, their PIN code badge ID can be mentioned here. Now under checklist, we could view the entry and exit checklist and its progress here. We have the status history to be updated here, so that this particular employee status, when they have entered the slap on stage and when it has been ended, and when they have entered the employment stage and when it has been ended, those details can be mentioned here. If this employee records their attendance through facial recognition, then they can add their image using this add option. Now we have a chat option here. So if we want to chat to this particular employee, we can make use of it. Then if we want to launch plan like offboarding or onboarding plan for this employee, we can make use of the launch plan here. If this particular employee's notice period starts, then we will have to use this start notice period option. We can also terminate this employee by clicking on this terminate option. Now here we could view the contract details of this particular employee. We could see the status that the particular contract is in the running stage. Now I am clicking on this edit option. I'll have to mention a name for this contract, the employee details, the department, the job position, branch and the salary structure. Accordingly, the particular employee will receive the payslip. That detail should be mentioned. And under the contract details, under contract terms, we'll have to mention the start date. If it is a fixed term contract, then they'll have to mention the end date too. If they are on trial period, then they'll have to specify the end of trial period, notice period, etc. Then their schedule, working schedule should be mentioned. If the working schedule is monthly, weekly or whichever they want, they could choose it from here. And we'll have to specify the HR who is responsible for this particular employee. For this particular employee, we can mention the shift here. Next, under salary information, we could mention the type of wage, if it is monthly fixed wage or if it is hourly wage. Those details can be viewed and the wage can also be mentioned. Then their monthly advantages in cash can also be specified. Each employee must have a running contract so that their payslips can be generated. Now, we could see the time off details of this particular employee, how many time offs has been allocated to them and how many days has they taken leave. Those details can also be seen here. If they have any announcement, they can view it here. Their document details, their payslip details can also be seen here. So, this particular employee has received a payslip for the month of February. Next, the time sheets of this particular employee can be seen here. If this employee has any sale orders, those details can be seen here. Then if this particular employee has any legal actions, has any custody request or equipment request, then they could make use of the options here. If they want to email their current day's timesheets to their manager, then they could mention it using this option. So all the details of this particular employee can be managed in a single frame. Under contracts, we could see all the employees' contracts and their status here. We could change the state by clicking on this drag and drop option. Next, we can see the organizational chart. Under the director, we have 3 managers. Here under the director, we have the managers here. Under each manager, we could see their listed employees. Next, under documents, we can see all the listed documents of the employees here. Next, we can have specific tags for employees and skills can also be mentioned. The departments, we can also view them by list view, where we can see the departments we have, their branch and the manager details. I'm viewing the department. Here I could see the name of the department, the responsible manager and the branch, and the hierarchy chart can be seen. Like under administration we have 2 departments, so that we could see the 2 departments here. So under the business department, this is under the parent department administration, so that we could view the parent department here. Then project skills can be specified for each employees. The contract types can be mentioned. Checklist can be created for employees here. Now we can have entry checklist and exit checklist process here. In the line types, we could also add their experience, education and internship period here. You can also create a new one by clicking on this create option. If they has any department tags, then they can create a new one here. The employees can create orientation checklist. The checklist can be created. These are the existing ones that we have created here. And the checklist lines can be viewed specifically here. Under activity planning, we can specify the planning types. And under plans, we could create the plans. Here we have two plans like offboarding and onboarding. So for onboarding plan, what are the activities we have? They can be listed below and the responsible person can also be mentioned. And similarly for the next plan, offboarding plan, what are all the activities that are to be done and who all are responsible for it? Those details should be mentioned. Next, we can grant various badges of achievements to our employees here. These are the existing badges we have. By clicking on this grant option, we can grant the badges to our employees. Now I am mentioning an employee and I am clicking on the grant badge option. Next, we could also set up challenges. Challenges or missions that an employee can create and assign them to their teammates. So these are some existing challenges we have. We could also create a new one by clicking on this create option. We could mention the goals here too and the rewards, like for every succeeding user and the first user which type of reward is he getting. All those details can be viewed here. Next, if the employee has any vehicle request, then they can make use of this option to make a request. And if employees has any legal actions, then they can record it here. The orientation programs for employees can be seen here. Now we could see that we have two orientation programs for this particular employee and it is in the confirmed state. If we want to edit this, we'll have to click on this edit option. We should mention the name of the employee, their date, the responsible person, the department, job title and the manager details, and under the checklist line and the name of the action and who is responsible for it should be mentioned, and the status also can be seen. Next, if the employees has any training programs, then they can make use of this. Here we can see the training program, the time period, the department and the responsible user and the employee's details below. Under reporting, we could manage the reporting and analysis efficiently. We could also view under the department specifically if we want. The presence and absence reports can also be generated here. We could also customize our reports using the filters and group by options that we have and add the generic reports to our favorites. I'm grouping by the department so that we could view all the employees under the department specifically. And if you want to add them to your favorites, you can make use of this option and add them to your favorites. That's how we efficiently manage our employee details here. Thank you.